Hi friends, today we will share with you the wonderful fairy tale of Snow White. In this interesting story, there is a queen, witch, and a princess. Shall we begin? Once upon a time, there lived a beautiful princess with snow white skin, blue eyes, and yellow hair that won everyone's admiration. The princess's stepmother is jealous of her beauty. The queen would look into her mirror every day and ask, "Mirror, mirror on the wall, am I the fairest of them all?" The magic mirror would always reply, "Yes, you are the fairest of them all." One day, the queen looked into the mirror and received a different answer. The mirror replied, "Queen, you are beautiful, but there is someone in this world who surpasses your beauty, and that is Snow White." The queen became furious and immediately called a hunter to take the princess to the forest and kill her. Instead of killing her, the hunter took Snow White into the forest and pretended that she had gotten lost. The princess became exhausted while wandering in the forest and almost fell asleep. Eventually, she met 7 dwarfs. The dwarfs invited Snow White to their home and took care of her. Snow White fell asleep immediately due to her fatigue. Meanwhile, the queen looked into her mirror again, and the answer remained the same. When the queen learned that the princess was still alive, she began to make plans to look even more beautiful. Since the queen could not kill Snow White, she hired a witch as a last resort. The witch made a magical apple that would fulfill the queen's wish and gave it to her. The queen went to the forest with the apple and gave it to Snow White. When the princess ate the apple, she fell into a deep sleep, and no one could wake her up. After Snow White fell asleep, the queen returned to the forest with the witch's magical apple. The hunter decided to keep the truth from the queen and told her that the princess had died. The queen breathed a sigh of relief and became the most beautiful once again. However, after a while, the queen began to feel guilty about Snow White's death. One day, she went to the witch to learn the truth and told her everything. The witch revealed that the magic apple had actually put the princess to sleep, and that magic honey was needed to wake her up. When the queen learned that a dragon was guarding the magic honey, she decided to ask the prince for help. Witnessing the queen's remorse, the prince agreed to help and set out to find Snow White's location from the dwarfs and headed towards the forest. After a challenging battle with the dragon, the prince managed to obtain the magic honey. He returned to the forest to find the dwarfs and give the magic honey to Snow White. As he dripped the magic honey into her mouth to awaken her, Snow White opened her eyes and smiled happily at the prince. With the magic honey, Snow White awakened and she smiled happily when she saw the prince. The prince was awed by Snow White's beauty, and Snow White was taken with the prince's handsomeness. The prince was happy to have saved Snow White, and Snow White was grateful to have been given a second chance at life. A special bond had formed between them, and they knew they could not be without each other. Together, they left the forest and were greeted by the adorable animals raised by the dwarfs. Everyone was overjoyed that Snow White was alive. The prince and Snow White openly showed their love for each other. Finally, the prince and Snow White got married and lived a happy life. Goodness, beauty, and love had won, and evil, jealousy, and hatred had been defeated. The fairy tale of the prince and Snow White would always be a love story that would live in people's hearts. I hope you enjoyed the story of Snow White. If you liked it, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and continue to follow us for more fairy tales and fun content. See you soon.